Lego's just released their latest art series set, The Sunflowers by Vincent Van Gogh. But what I want to talk about is the 10 that Lego should be working on next. Let's jump in. There are quite a few pieces of artwork in this world that are, well, highly renowned and well known by a majority of the world. And I think that there are at least 10 that LEGO should be considering for their next roundup. And I'm going to work down from 10 all the way to the number one, as I think should be the next of the art series. Let's start with number 10 is the Cafe Terrace on the Place des Forum, also by Vincent Van Gogh. And it follows along the same lines as what we've seen for the two that they've done since they've done Starry Night and now the Sunflowers. And it has kind of a blend of both, I'd say. It has that yellow hue color to it as well as the Starry Night. But this photo adds some depth, including the cafe, the people in the background, and just the transition from that darker blue scope to that yellow that is kind of the liveliness of the cafe itself and the cobblestone streets, which could be a fun way to integrate some definitely different colors and a lot of tiles and bricks to create something with that kind of structural texture to it. Number 9 would be The Walk Woman with a Parasol. That's by Claude Monet, and it shows a depiction of a woman in a long white dress with a parasol or umbrella, and what we can only assume is her son in the foreground of it. And it's a beautiful sunny day. It's got lovely flowers and meadowed gardens, and it has such a unique kind of warmth to it, having the woman in the parasol in the shade, but you can still see the sunlight around her and just an enjoyment of a spring day. And having this be one of the next ones, I think, is just kind of a deviation from the Van Gogh, and having Monet being another part of one of the most iconic paintings or artists of its time. Number 8, this one's fun for me. A Friend in Need. This is dogs all playing poker. I didn't know this was like a true art piece that people, think that is classic. It is recognizable since it's kind of a comedic take, having dogs playing poker. This is by Cassius Marcellus Coolidge, and having these different dogs all sitting around a table, having the classic stained glass light overhead depicting a round table of them playing poker. And, a friend in need. Maybe somebody needs some levity to not just having the classic photos and artwork, but this is kind of a great depiction of what some comedic take would be for Lego to do in their art series. Number 7 is A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of La Grande Jatte. It's by Georges Seyfrat, and it has a depiction of kind of, I don't know if you'd say modernistic take, more of a block-like structure, to a crowd sitting on or standing on the banks of a river enjoying a sunny afternoon. Some of them sitting in the shade, some walking around with also parasols or umbrellas, a dog depiction, and it has a very broad palette, not just a lot of green from the grass, but you've got the blue. There's a little sailboat in the top left-hand corner and some purples and pinks. I think it's a different take on not just having Van Gogh, where it has the more abstract style to it. This is a very structured, almost easily done in Lego, with some of the anglings that could be used with some of the wedge plates and curved tile pieces. Number 6 is another Monet, the water lilies. Monet created some beautiful depictions of nature, and this is no exception. I think it's his most famous, having the pink lily flowers blooming around the lily pads and the different types of water colorings, where there's even the purple and pink around the reflection of trees. And yeah, I mean, this would be beautiful because it shows a depth of just the same thing, the coloring of it, and in nature. The sunflowers are a depiction of nature, but in a more stagnant. This is more of a realistic version of what you would see on a pond. I love this and would be a great addition. Number 5, American Gothic. If you don't know this photo, it's been probably redone about 1 billion times in pop culture. It's a farmer and his wife with a white house behind them. He's holding a pitchfork. The wife is looking at him in disdain, and the farmer is just looking straight ahead. American Gothic was created by Grant Wood in 1930, and it depicts the Great Depression, which was such an impact in America, and it really affected the rest of the world. Understanding that this is an American portrait, but we don't have to have all the classics. This is a classic for America, and a lot of people do know it. Number four, The Kiss. This was made in 1907 and 1908 by Gustav Klimt, and it has a wonderful depiction of a man leaning over and giving his wife or partner a kiss. It has a lot of gold in it, which who doesn't love Lego gold pieces, with almost a technicolored pattern of rectangles and squares to create their blanket or clothing that is wrapped around both of them. And it has a kind of off color, brownish, bronze coloring to the background, and them just standing on kind of a cliffside with a bunch of flowers. But this would add some more depth to the artwork that is well known around the world. As this is probably, I think it was ranked as like number 4 or 5 most famous photos, which has some amazing symbolism as well as Austrian influence to it. So that's my number 4 pick. Number 3, The Scream. This definitely has to be up there. I would have put it as like number 2, but there's one I wanted to put in place instead of that. The Scream is by Edvard Munch, is just such a weird photo. Like, is it a depiction of an alien he saw, or why is there no hair on the creature or person that is screaming? The orangey red colors as the sky as they're walking on a boardwalk with a shoreline, more water in it. But I think the depth of color is more abrasive, more deeper, and I think can add some depth to the art series instead of just having the more brightly colored. This is more of a deeper color, kind of drawing you into that, similar to Starry Night. But I think having the function of the waves is definitely something with that orange color and hue that would be fun to add to the art series. Number 2. Now, this one is controversial and probably would never be made. The Last Supper. Being a religious connotation, it's not going to get made. But I mean, everybody knows the Last Supper, knows Jesus and his disciples all at the last dinner before he's crucified. And it was created by Leonardo da Vinci. They just did the latest Leonardo da Vinci's flying machine. And this was drawn in 1495 to 1498. So, I mean, it took some time. But it would be really beautiful to have something like this because it's such an iconic depiction of it. We're not going to get it. It's religious, and Lego doesn't really jump into that part. As you know, it would be a little bit controversial to do so. And number 1 is The Girl with the Pearl Earring by Jan Vermeer van Dolft in 1665. It is another depiction of a female character, similar to what we saw in Mona Lisa. For me, Mona Lisa wasn't the best in the facial features, which could have been changed, but I think this one could be done a little bit better because it's more of a forefront or closer photo to add more detail to it. Her blue headband is really beautiful, especially if we did the light bluish colorings or the very light blue and the yellow bandana, and as well as her golden dress. And the background is black, which really makes you focus on her specifically, the details of the clothing that she's wearing, her facial expression. So this is my number 1. Now I do have a short bonus one that I think would be great for this summer. I mean, it's a little late, but if they've been working on it, it would be great to have, is Action Comics number 1, which is the depiction of Superman, the first time we see him, by Joe Shuster. And I mean, we have Superman coming out, the newest one from James Gunn, and having it as pretty much the start of the comic book, like, legend and legacy. And Lego did this as like a buildable version where the Superman minifigures lifting up a car. That was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, but this would be a great addition for the DC Universe art piece and throwing some more of those in instead of just the buildable logos that they just did for Marvel, and Star Wars is coming along now. So that's my honorable mention, but these 10 I think are a great start for Lego to look into next. The Girl with the Pearl Earring is, I think, the number 1 that they should be working on. But what do you think? What should be some of the art pieces that Lego should be working on next? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe so you can keep up on all our fun discussions and builds that I'm working on. Catch you later.